with respect to how we approach cross-functional collaboration,
Right.
it doesn't just stop with us. We need to encourage our teams to do that. And when we know that this is a business goal, that everybody has a piece to it, and IT being a part of the decision. It's not after the fact, but as the C levels, we kind of work together to make those decisions.
Right.
And IT is part of the initial business strategy. So then once I'm able to really hear why we want to do what we want to do, then kind of taking that and providing that technology strategy to my team and kind of working through that process. If we all don't work together, we don't get to the right solution at the right time too.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Navigating Technology with Zeal. I'm Rashmi Jain, CIO partner at Zeal IT Consultants. Every time in a new episode, we take the opportunity to introduce you to one of our guests in the field of technology so that we can share in the wealth of their knowledge and expertise. Today, we have one such guest in our offices shooting with us. She is, I would say, the epitome of calmness and grace when it comes to doing a very high-powered and very high-stress role in the field of wellness and wellness supplements. We have with us today our 2024 CIO of the Year Orbi Award winner for corporate enterprises, Swarna Murugan. Swarna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely an honor to be here, Rashmi, and thank you so much for you and Zeal for this opportunity and your absolute introduction. Really an honor to be here.
No, thank you. I appreciate you so much. And full disclosure, we know each other as friends and we try to have our occasional lunches, and you're my workout accountability buddy as well. So it's really fun to actually meet you in this pretext because I'm so in awe of your experience and your expertise and what you do on a daily basis. So I want to have a little more background on how did you end up in technology? Where did your journey start and how did we get here?
Absolutely, yes. So by trade, an engineer, so graduated from an engineering school, and first job was in IT, but it's mainly because of my very filled interest in problem solving and kind of that exposure that you have. Not a whole lot of exposure in coding, but exposure in coding to kind of help you to feel what kind of impact you can have. And
Right.
so the initial things that I did was, I worked a couple of years in India before I moved to the US and have been with Advocare for a little over 23 years. And the journey has been just amazing, mainly because of the technical expertise that I bring to the table along with the business acumen that I could contribute to it.
I want to get back to that because you don't navigate and stay somewhere for that long without having the right business and tech skills. But going back to your engineering, was it a choice that you made consciously, or was it something that your parents decided for you? Because you know how that works out back in India. How did you end up in engineering?
That's a very great question. So my dad is a cardiologist. So, like
Ah.
having you coming from India, you probably know like the expectation is one of the kids have to be a doctor.
Right.
So unfortunately for my dad, neither of us became a doctor, but then I really liked the engineering aspect of it and kind of like having to being strong in math, it kind of like came very natural, and navigating through a lot of the physics and chemistry and all of that kind of made me think that, okay, I like this more than I think I'm a people person, but definitely not to the extent where I also do not want to spend so much time studying. So
Right.
kind of like getting to the point
Right.
of, okay, I want to get to the real life, like
Right.
the real side of the business. So
Right.
that's how I transitioned to engineering.
And you can't deny a strong foundation in math for anything technology related, especially nowadays with AI and everything else going
Exactly.
on.
Like, you see so many kids actually majoring pretty much on the math side. So to
Right.
kind of enhance the AI part of
I
it.
can only wish I had that level of interest in math. It wasn't ever my strong suit. So looking at your career today, being at Advocare, I know when you're in technology, a lot of the times the push is to change jobs every few years, right? Because that's seen as a growth path forward. What prompted you to be in your current role now going on 23, 24 years? And what would you advise for people that are at that path of making a decision, thinking, am I doing the right thing by staying in the same job for that long? Or young people that are entering the workforce, their mindset and the mentality of how they want to navigate their careers. What's your advice for that?
Yeah, I think the company that you are with, the first thing is you really need to like their culture and how they accept you or value your inputs, right? So when I started in Advocare, I started as a Java architect. So kind of like had an ability to kind of make a difference on the e-commerce side of it. And when I did have, again, moving from a bigger corporation to a smaller, medium-sized company, you kind of have that control that you never had in a bigger corporation. So kind of that kind of intrigued me into having, oh, I can actually do more things than being siloed in a certain space. So then I kind of moved from a web application aspect of it to more like a back end. And every opportunity, as I lead into one, I happen to have a different opportunity to kind of actually learn more side of it. So
Sure.
even if you're in a longer, in a company for a longer time, you always, if you have the challenge and you have the need to kind of relearn or, innovate in an area where you're not accustomed to, it kind of gives you that interest to
Right.
be there. And it also depends upon the team that you're working with,
So true.
like, who you report to and who you work with, both makes the difference. And
Right.
with a company that is of that size, fairly, we're 165 employees, and
Right.
it's a very small family kind of a setup, and you kind of like get to know the people more, and your business discussions and how you make a
How
difference
you
in
approach. Right. So
everything
true.
is.
So true.
So I think that kind of definitely made me feel like I'm welcomed and I'm appreciated and recognized in every step I was moving forward, and definitely had a lot of mentorship through the process,
Right.
which kind of made me feel like there is no reason for me to move to a new place when you have the opportunity that you're looking for and the learning aspect of it as well.
Yeah. Seems like your current role checked all the boxes, right? That we look for in a successful career: opportunity for growth, mentorship, ability to grow within the org. And start. Did I hear you say that you started as a Java architect? So you pretty much worked your way to CIO. How long a span was that?
So I joined 2002, so about 24 years. So I think the main piece of it, the initial aspect of like 5 years probably, I was more like hardcore development, like kind of like wanting to know the systems and kind of like on the technical aspect of it. But as I was doing like more strategic projects, I got to work with the business teams more. So kind
Right.
of like seeing from their eyes, kind of like their perspective. And I felt like I was able to connect with them better
Right.
and able to kind of articulate what they want and give them a solution, even if it's not the exact thing that they were wanting. It's kind of like, okay, this is not a viable solution in the time and the technology that we have, but here is how I can help. So I think that aspect of it kind of helped me to build that relationship with the different aspects of the business. And
Right.
being part of web kind of helped me understand the customer aspect of it
Mm.
and marketing and working hand then, like when you are in a company of that size, each of those teams kind of work together on a day-to-day basis.
So
Like a
true.
cross-functional
Yeah.
aspect is very important for us to take a business goal to the finish line. And I think I just love that aspect of it. And being encouraged to be part of that really helps to broaden my thoughts about industry or our particular company and how I can take that and take it back to my team to also make them feel the same way, to help them provide that solution that is more aligned to our business goals.
So cross-functional interactions, right? So do you think that varies and depending on the size of your org? Because it seems like as CIOs, we can't work in isolation. We have to work not just with one department, but many different departments, potentially all departments within the org, right? So how did you navigate that challenge? Because most of the time, technology's on the receiving end of will tell you when you need to know, or when a project comes down the pike, you're on the receiving end of that project. How did you navigate positioning yourself to be that advocate to where you had that level of involvement?
I think my timing in Advocare and the different systems that I had touched through the time I was there
Right.
kind of made me represent almost on the business side as well as to, oh, remember, this is how we did this particular one, or this is kind of similar to what we did in the past, or how we would take this particular change and drive, whether it's customer or whether it is efficiency within the company or customer service, whatever that main aspect of it, and trying to kind of articulate that particular concept and help them get there. And I think with respect to how we approach cross-functional collaboration,
Right.
it doesn't just stop with us. We need to encourage our teams to do that. And when we know that this is a business goal where everybody has a piece to
True.
it, and IT being a part of the decision. It's not after the fact, but as the C levels, we kind of work together to make those decisions.
Right.
And IT is part of the initial business strategy. So then once I'm able to really hear why we want to do what we want to do, then kind of taking that and providing that technology strategy to my team and kind of working through that process.
That makes perfect sense. It seems like it's your personality to be collaborative, but then your culture also promotes that and doesn't shut that down. So it seems like a match made in heaven almost in the way you flourished at your org.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it is pretty, I would say, lucky to have teams who are looking for collaboration and kind of not wanting to have a silo decision, because if we all don't work together, we don't get to the right solution at the right time
Absolutely.
too.
That's so true. So talking a little bit more about collaboration, elaborate a little bit more on what that has looked like across not just internally, but externally as well for you.
I think as you move into a CIO role, right, like the buck stops with you with respect to technology. Like
Right.
your team is looking at you for direction, your execs, the rest of the company actually is looking at you for directions. So you really need to rely on outside industry leadership and other CIOs. And you and I, we know each other through the CIO organization too.
Right.
Like kind of understanding and collaborating with them, not just when we need something, but also to be there to help them when they are actually having a need. Talking with our vendors, like they are the goods, they're specialized in a particular area and they have the time to be specialized in that area. So kind of like talking and collaborating with them to find the right solution and why their product is actually a good solution for us to do. And same way with you are implementing a particular solution, you kind of want to get insights from somebody who has already done it. And
Right.
I would also want to share mine with anyone who is going through the process, because it
Right.
is so easy to learn challenges and be prepared for it from somebody's experience versus you having to go through it again. There's no reason for us to go through it. So it is more all about how you are putting yourself with others to share what you know and how you can help, and also kind of be honest. If you need help, you need help. Like there's nothing wrong in being vulnerable and asking for help, because everybody will not know everything and we're always going to rely on others to help us out.
So true. So true. So what has been one of your bigger challenges in your role that you've faced?
So like Advocare has been in the industry for 30 years. So, even though we've been there for 30 years, we recently had, like, I wouldn't say recently, probably like 5+ years ago, we had a monumental shift in our business model. And it came in at a time where we had to support the current business customers, our distributors, but also have to look at ways to extend our business to direct to consumer, retail, influencers, like all the different aspects of us moving from a distributor-based led company to a customer-focused company. And when we did move into that direction, there's just so much of changes, mind shift, like that mindset shift has to happen first before we could even move forward with and we literally had like 4 or 5 months to make some of those major changes so that way we could support the new business model. But soon we realized, so that was the biggest challenge. I had to kind of transition to that. But then after transitioning, that's a new side that we've never ventured out, right? So kind of like what is happening? It is so much more, customers need a lot more things than what it was 10 years ago. Their needs of what they are wanting to see, how they are wanting us to talk to them, what are they really looking for on a website, how quickly they want to check. All of that is so different. And how do you even approach these customers are much different than 10 years ago. The current generation, they're all in social media. That's a new place
they don't look up, right?
There's a new place that we've never been. So kind of understanding all of those different pieces. And our marketing team is trying to keep up with the needs. And we developed something because we had all custom solutions. So we're creating all of this for marketing. And by the time we are ready to launch, they use it for once or twice. There's another need. So it's kind of like an ongoing process. And then we felt like, okay, for the time being, this is working, but this is not sustainable. The way that we need to be right there at the moment for us to provide what the customer needs, what the marketing team needs, because for us to be successful, we need to put ourselves ahead. So we moved, we've looked through multiple different platforms, and we moved literally the whole thing to Salesforce. And not just from a commerce standpoint, this is 20 years of legacy systems that was even there before I started. But then, of course, we've kind of developed all through the process. But now, literally taking the heart of the whole thing and then redoing it in a more enterprise platform. But I thought that that's the best way for us to move forward, because now we have transitioned from a more custom modeled company to a more direct to consumer, CPG company. So we want to do what enterprise level commerce platforms do, and how we can actually be there for our customers. So that journey was definitely my biggest setback of how I should be working through, but also my biggest accomplishment, because just going through that whole process in 12 to 13 months was a huge undertaking.
I'm overwhelmed just thinking about it. So you went from a reseller model to a direct-to-consumer model. That's a huge shift. And what a learning curve, but it's also a huge shift corporate-wide, not just for technology. And it seems like you were involved in various different aspects of that process, including, of course, taking the lead on tech. How do you not just, obviously, there's buy-in at the board level on which direction the company wants to go in. Of course, you were there making that decision with the team. But then how do you bring the rest of your team, because you're steering this big technology ship, right? And now all of a sudden you have to change direction, and there's a plan, there's a short-term plan, it seems like, and there's a long-term plan that's more sustainable, as you mentioned. How do you get your whole team to come on that journey with you? How do you get buy-in? How do you get long-term commitments, skills, different skill sets needed? How did you handle that from a people standpoint?
Yeah, so while we were transitioning, we still had to support the current business model, and the new thing that we have done with our custom application still has to be working while so of course our team was more focused on that, while we actually got some consultants to help us through the process. And in parallel, I had a couple of my team members working along with the consultants. So they have, from a discovery phase to all the way through implementation, we had few core members plugged with the team, so they kind of understanding the whole process. Because the way I drive my team is, I have really talented people, and I really want them to be retooled to whatever new technology it is, because I think they have the skills and they have the drive to do it. And because I also have a team who have been with me for 15 plus years. So they know, they've seen so many changes. So change is not something that bothers them much.
It's
They
not new to
actually,
them, right?
yeah, they just kind of like embrace it, and they're always excited.
Right.
So kind of like putting that aspect of how this transition is going to help the business, but also it's going to help us because we now can really truly work on enhancing technology versus the day-to-day needs of our marketing team. Like, I need a promotion today. Well, that's not in the system, so I have to develop. Whereas
Right.
now we come up with a solution which is heavy on all kinds of promotional aspects. So
Right.
give the tools to the business where they can drive and be there at the moment that they need to make that change. And kind of like, if there is a particular need that is happening, something external, kind of how do you capitalize on that? How do you
Right.
push that? Like, they just keep changing the promotions based off of what is really needed for the business and what is really happening outside. And that wasn't possible
Of
in
course
this.
not. Right.
So our team definitely felt like, oh, now I could actually do something that is more technical than really being helping. Constantly there are a few folks who were constantly helping the marketing team to get what we needed on the side. So I think
trying to
that's
keep the legacy platforms up to speed to meet the needs, and now they've shifted, which I don't even want to state the statistics on how many conversions and shifts like that are not successful. So that's a big feather in your cap.
for sure. I think, and also with respect to our direct selling model, I would say like we are probably one of the few who actually moved into a enterprise commerce platform because of all the different customizations that are needed. Our model change still required us to have some customizations, but not to the extent that our original model was.
So you're at that crossroads and you were like, build or buy is one, right? But even a lot of companies, the business needs so trump doing it right from a tax standpoint that you're cobbling solutions together. Like, that's the world we live in. You're trying to find workarounds, but then there's really no circle back to that workaround to find a long-term strategy or to find a partner that can come in and do it for you while you're flying the plane or steering the ship and you're charting the course, but that you're still upgrading everything real time. So it seems like you found that right balance, and you're one of the few CIOs that I know that actually circle back with, I'm sure, with the support of your org, to actually implement a more viable, sustainable, long-term solution.
Oh, absolutely. I think, it's not just my team's buy-in. There is no way that we could do something this massive without the support of the enterprise.
Or the investment.
Yeah, definitely
Everything.
had a buy-in from
Right.
the board for sure, but then the team, all the different C-level execs, and they kind of understand the high level of it, but then going to the people who, again, having a long-term, where most of my employees are, our employees are long-term, it is kind of harder to make a change. Not
Right.
everybody, like my team can embrace change, but I can't expect everybody to just come
Jump on
along
that.
with
Yeah,
me, right? So
right.
kind of like taking the approach of sitting with each of those departments, kind of share the direction why we are taking and how, like everybody, as long as we have a plan and we know how we are going to transition and we're not going to let them hanging into this, oh, okay, well, I moved here, here's the new one, now go ahead and figure out, that they were more worried about how they would transition to the team.
Right.
So we kind of kept a lot of our teams cross-functionally, again, part of the whole project. And when we had time, I mean, we were at a point where, okay, we had an MVP that we might be going live with. At least 2 months before that, we had our customer service team, our marketing team to have hands-on experience on the lower environments. Kind of like they literally, like the leaders in those teams kind of went through it, checked to see like changes, even kind of from a requirement standpoint, right? More like a user acceptance testing, but also they're getting hands-on training where they can do anything that they want in this platform. So when we did transition, it wasn't new for them.
Yeah, and they had a whole different level of confidence. There was not as much panic around, oh my goodness, if a call comes in and I have to help a customer, how do I do this?
And I think the aspect that was easy for me to sell was we kind of went with Salesforce Commerce Cloud, Salesforce Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Order Management. So one thing that was helpful is so we could connect all of this information together.
Integration was easier.
And the team could see the value, even though it's a change and a lot of training for the team. They were like, okay, after we get through this hump, we should be able to handle it. And I think it has been a great experience overall. Very nervous, you're kind of switching because it's 100% of our sales comes through the site. So when you switch it on,
it has to work.
It has to work because every minute, every hour we are down, we are losing revenue. So I think it was a pretty stressful one. Getting to the finish line was not easy. So many roadblocks, and really have to work through it from a team, and absolute support is needed across the company. Otherwise, it's very hard to pull it through.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And what a wise decision in choosing that tech stack that also worked in your favor to have that cohesiveness and integration. And yeah, I was going to ask you about cool technologies coming up in the wellness space, but I'm still processing all the information on this massive upgrade and conversion that you just went through. So moving to the business side of the equation as opposed to the tech side, what should we expect as consumers in the wellness space coming from Advocare or just that industry in general?
I think the whole way people are thinking about wellness has changed. When you look 5 years back, you get a multivitamin, everybody feels like, I'm taking a multivitamin, I should be good. But then that whole change has happened where people are looking for more specific personal wellness. You have to I'm looking for just immunity. I'm looking for protein, like,
yes,
everybody talks about protein, right? Kind of that whole concept was not there a couple of years ago. So how do we understand what our customers need? And we've changed our website to be based off of not just categories that we sell, but more based off of needs. So we have gut health, we have immunity, your performance, sports performance, weight loss. So kind of like making the customers see the products in the vision of what they are wanting to really accomplish.
And their daily struggles and needs. And is there a women-focused section?
So there are some women products, but honestly, our company actually, we kind of look at performance, like energy, but we actually feel like it is more for day-to-day moms, like they need the energy more than anyone else, driving around, taking care of the kids. And we have a strong customer base for the men who really love our products and kind of take that to lead their busy lives, so that way they still can handle and juggle everything that a mom has to do.
That's so awesome. And how cool for you to work in a space where you can make this concrete difference, right? You see the social aspect of what you do and all the cool tech that you implement and all the changes you make and have that direct effect on your customers. That must be quite a sense of fulfillment as well.
Absolutely. I also feel like, one thing we were doing direct to consumer, and still we had to get people to know our brand to get to our site. So recently we have gone retail, and as of last month, April, we went live in Target. So now our products are products.
I noticed your items on the shelf at Target, yes.
So it is so exciting for us to actually see it, and now we are able to share to more people. We're at
and easy accessibility, right?
1,400 stores, even the areas that maybe we don't have a customer base, now we are having a presence. So hoping to see how we can develop and move on to more retailers, but definitely having Target is a big, big feather on our cap.
Oh my goodness, yes. Seems like the company is just moving in all sorts of right directions, and then you and your team are keeping on top of the technical needs to support the business growth. So that's so commendable. Now, what's next for you? Because I know we're all driven individuals, and that's why we are in the positions in our career that we're in. What's next for you?
I think the impact that I'm making in Advocare is great, but I want to figure out what I can do outside of Advocare as still being part of Advocare, but kind of being in a board or helping different institutions, so I can carry my learnings and be a mentor or an advisor to other companies, and can help them to see the way that we are new companies, so they can grow from where they are today to a different level.
Right. So you're looking to basically continue the good work that you're doing at Advocare, stay there for hopefully until retirement. Seems like you're very happy where you're at, but then alongside that, explore more board opportunities so you can take your expertise. And I think any company would be lucky to have you on their board with everything that you bring to the table.
And that's so nice of you to say thank you.
But then the other side of being driven, the stress that goes with it, right? And I ask all our guests this very same question because I personally am so curious to learn. How do you handle, what are your coping mechanisms and strategies? I know you're a mom of two and almost grown and flown, right? But still managing your household and your friendships and relationships and then a full-time career that's very demanding. What is your downtime strategy like? What does that look like for you?
You need a me time. Me
Yeah.
time is very important. And for me, it's either me taking a run or working out. I also have this thing of I need a sense of accomplishment first thing in the day to
Okay.
kind of continue my process. So I'm like, it could be as simple as I'm just making my bed. And that is like, okay, something that I finished as the first thing in the morning. And
Okay. Is that
whether
health and wellness related or just anything like a project?
doesn't matter. Like
Oh,
some
one sense of check.
every day it
Yeah.
has consistency,
Okay.
like kind of having that habit. So like, okay, I did, and then I want my living room to look clean when I start my day, so that way all through the day, it's nice. Especially if you're
Right.
working from home, when you come in, I don't want to see clutter all over
Yeah.
there. So like I need that first 30 minutes to kind of like situate everything in the house, and then I go work out for an hour. And that is my time where honestly sometimes don't even see anyone until I'm done with all my work. And I'm an early riser too. So
Right.
that really clears your head, because
Right.
one thing, you're focused in something that really drives your wellness, your needs, but also you need that downtime to clear
Right.
your thoughts, to clear, think clearly.
Right.
Because if I can evaluate a situation, or I can think through a process end to end,
Right.
then I can provide so much value to my company or even to my family for that
Right.
matter.
So true.
But having that downtime kind of, I think, helps me be a better person at home and
Right.
also be a better person at work.
So it seems like your morning, two things, straighten out the living room, checking a checkbox on something to do in a workout. Those are non-negotiables for you because that's what sets the tone. And so it's like almost like working in the industry of wellness and health, but then also not just talking the talk, but walking the walk as well.
I think, like you said, that is very true. You being in a wellness industry, we see how much we are wanting to help our customers to feel better. And I'm I take all our products, just energy and hydration, and that just aligns very well with my needs
Right.
of whether it's a run or whether it's my workout. Just feel revived after I finish off my workout, and it just helps me to start my day and clear my head.
So good. Well, Swarna, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been a pleasure. I could go on forever, right? We could film like 5 episodes today, but I appreciate you taking the time, coming in and sharing all your wonderful insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.